Hello and welcome to Redeeming Thunder. My name is Erica and I'm here to give you a phenomenal prophetic word. Hallelujah. Shalah, shalah. You know why? Because you're having a crossing the Red Sea moment in your life. And you will know this because you may feel a bit anxious. There might be a crisis occurring in your life, just as the Israelites were dealing with a crisis. And there's a Pharaoh in your life that doesn't want to let you go. Okay? A spirit of Pharaoh. A spirit of Pharaoh represents someone that's narcissistic, who has been trying to keep you and you're in that position you've been in, because it benefits whatever you have to provide benefits them. And so when you're around someone with a spirit of Pharaoh, it is not a two-way relationship, amicable, or it's not equal. Okay? It's one person giving, and the other person taking. Besides that, narcissistic characteristics would be stonewalling, gaslighting, scapegoat, and dismisses what you need and avoids conversing about it. So, or could possibly you verbalize it and they make false promises, just like Pharaoh did. He promised to let them go, so then the plague was removed, but then had all these other ultimatums each time, and then retracted the promise of releasing them until then the last plague, right? And he then allowed them to be released, and we just celebrate the Passover. So this prophetic word that is coming to pass, even though I received it on 9/17/2025, this is chapter 64, part 1. It is manifesting into on earth as it is in heaven in March. Okay? So that's about 6 months away of a prophetic word coming into play. But as I post up more prophetic word coming into the future now, it is not, when I received it, was not 6 months away. It was, because we are coming into the dimensions of time. It is not always 6 months away. It could be the time that I received it is the time it's happening, and or it could be 3 months of when I received it and it's happening now. So you want to pay attention, because you want to be knowledgeable using your high discernment, because heaven is trying to send you a message, and they send it with signs and wonders. They send it with clues, because partially why it's cryptic is because they don't want the enemy to know of the hidden plans. Okay? And so you're needing to understand the hidden plans, but not everybody, right? So if you're led to watch this video, it's because the Most High has directed the paths in your dimensions of time to be ahead of the game and understand what's going on. He doesn't want you to miss your opportunity. So that's why he holds on to these words that I have, and allows me to release them when I do. Okay? So some of you have already been feeling that discernment and anticipation of a Red Sea moment coming up. And you know what? The time has come. You are living in that moment of the escape plan. So like you could feel that anticipation. You could feel that adrenaline rush. You could feel in your being the urgency. And then it could also feel too much. So the key to get through this difficult time is praise and worship. Okay? The praise and worship is what's going to launch you into peace of mind. Staying grounded, staying with self-control, keeping self-control. And not stuffing it, obviously, right? But you're going to need to have some composure. Because, again, Pharaoh came after them, right? He allowed them to leave, and there they were on their way. And right when they were at the breakthrough, about to cross the sea, Pharaoh was there, very intimidating, with his thousands and thousands of troops. Okay? Warriors just waiting in their chariots. And now there was a pillar of cloud that clouded their sight. And so they weren't able to see them. But down below, near the water, is where the Israelites began to panic. And you may be at that stage where you feel like this may not happen. This breakthrough that you need may not occur because you're like, how are we going to cross? The depths of the sea is kind of deep. There's like thousands of people that need to cross over, right? You might feel like there's a bajillion reasons why you're not going to be able to cross over. Okay? For real life scenario circumstances to relate it to that story of the Red Sea moment, it could be your finances are not in order. It could be you don't have a vehicle. You physically, for real, don't have a car. Or it could be thinking, if you cross over, how are you going to handle it all by yourself? It could be you're dealing with an illness or an injury, and so you're physically incapable of handling it all by yourself. It could be that many other scenarios. You thought you were going to have savings and you don't have savings. Okay, so you're thinking, it could be that you're locked in. You're trying to leave, but you're locked in on a rental agreement, and it feels like you don't want to be stuck with a bunch of debt, breaking a lease before the time frame. You were meant to be in that neighborhood that you live in, or city that you live in, that Yahuwah moved you to. So you can't leave. You're not supposed to leave. Okay? So I'm trying to give you scenarios, real life scenarios that would relate to what the Israelites were thinking, and they were like razzled. Okay? Their minds were just feeling so distraught with they had goats, they had their sheep, they had their cargo, they had children, some of them were pregnant. Just imagine the circumstance, and they're traveling by foot. Okay, of course they're going to feel like, what's going to happen here? Guess what? Moses, the prophet, was the one that was stoic. He was having one-on-one conversations with the Most High. He was trying to help them calm down, but his words weren't really getting through. So we had to get into the secret place and pray. And the Most High, he didn't go on and on with a novel conversation of what to do. He just said, put your staff in the water. Okay? So with the power and authority that the Most High has given you, You have a staff of authority. Okay? Especially with those who have a prophetic gift. You were anointed for such a time as this. That's why you went through this whole process. There's many other Red Sea moments that you had to go through, but this is another one. Okay? And it's going to work. Your staff of authority that you're going to use in this hour is going to work. Why? Because you did listen to the prophetic word and you were fasting. Because you did listen to the Most High and you were praying. Because this breakthrough that's coming is not a joke. It's not maybe it will work. It's going to. It has to. Do you understand that the Most High cannot lie? And you've dealt with many other liars and those that betrayed you and or false promises, but he's not a man that shall lie. He is the creator of the universe. And he can break open the sea. Okay? He can make a path where there is no path. Okay, and so for the story of Ruth and Boaz, if you're watching the most modern version, recently they have put that show on Netflix. And she was a singer, and she was out in the world, right? And she also had faith in the Most High, but she didn't want to continue that profession. She wanted a fresh new start. Her boyfriend had just passed away, and her mother, well, she thought would be her future mother-in-law, her husband passed away, which is the son, also passed away in a car accident. And she didn't know that they were greatly in debt and lost everything when her husband passed away. They were already losing everything prior, but she didn't know of it until afterwards. And she happened to want to travel back to a state where she had some property. Okay, and when she went, Ruth wanted to go with her, because she was actually trying to escape a very abusive situation, which was her producer, who was just wanting her around, a spirit of Pharaoh, because of what he can reap the benefits of her talent. Okay? And he was being very demanding, and it was becoming a dangerous situation where he was threatening her life and the livelihood of her close friend. And it became known that he did follow through with some threats regarding the boyfriend she had. Okay, so she of course was scared, but she took off anyway without really, and not any money really, and she just took that opportunity and kind of had to. Okay, so there they are in this broken down house. The property that Naomi had was this abandoned home, and it's just like in shambles. And there are these ladies that don't know how to, build. They're not carpenters. They don't have the money to even pay someone to fix it. Okay? But guess what? Boaz remembers who Naomi is. They're relatives. And suddenly, Ruth is working in the fields where Boaz owns the property, right? And so the Most High is going to place you right in proximity of the ordained spouse. So this is a situation where you're not a feminist trying to solve all your problems on your own and saying, I did it myself. Okay? And it's going to take a village. And that's where I'm trying to get at here. I believe the story here, the prophetic word, is stating that your help is coming. And how he's going to rescue you is not going to be where you do it by yourself. And I capture this due to another prophetic word that I received that I just posted regarding her finally telling her family members, this woman, and then she goes out to her vehicle only to find that someone is throwing these firework bombs to the home and also towards her. And she tosses them back, because the ones that she was tossing weren't lit, but they were putting it. He was throwing them, and they were getting placed on top of her head, which was causing a lot of crazy making. Okay, a lot of havoc and emotional upheaval. Okay, and so when she looked back where she just had her vehicle, it was gone. And so she had to, it looked like she had to depend on there was a police officer that had arrived prior to her going after to go get her car. So someone with authority is coming. Not necessarily a police officer in real life, but somebody with authority is coming to assist in the rescue. So this Red Sea moment is coming with supernatural connections. And if you notice that it took authority, the staff of authority, to break open the sea, okay, of reeds. And so the Israelites, going back to the Bible story, the Israelites saw that that was a supernatural occurrence, and that was the only way out, and everybody passed through, and it looks like the Egyptians and Pharaoh was also in the chariots crossing over. And it was probably quite intimidating. They're going like astronomically quick, fast with their chariots and their horses, right? So it's looking kind of creepy. It's looking kind of suspicious, right? But just as everybody crossed safely, the water returned back to itself. Nature was in agreement with this escape. The water assisted in the deliverance. That's what we were talking about last couple videos, is that the earth, Eretz, is going to do a whole swallowing up of your enemy, of the spirit of Pharaohs in your life. Okay? And you will see that manifest into your real life on earth now. Because everything that's happening on earth now already happened in the heavens. The angels already had their fight, and they won. Okay? And so let's dive into the prophetic word. It's Osa Asi Asa Asi. And this means, this is given to me in Hebrew. So while praying in the Spirit, I pray in Hebrew. Do I know, am I fluent in Hebrew? No, I am not. Okay? I'm learning Hebrew by deciphering the definition and the prophetic meaning behind the prayer, but am I just, whipping out some Hebrew? No, I'm not. Okay, so this is why I know that Yahusha, your Savior, is praying for you. He's praying for this prayer for you. And he's saying, "Oh, Sa," which means exclamation, deliverance of your enemies, I'm coming to the rescue. Asi means a healer, a physician. He is your physician. He is your healer. Ah, Sa. Alas. Jump for joy, deliverance is here. Ah means alas. See, to perceive. He wants you to perceive this. He wants you to use your supernatural abilities to perceive who is coming to save you. There's someone that's been around, that's been watching you, that's been falling in love with you. And you're not, just like the story of the Ruth and Boaz, she was just trying to work. Do you understand this? She was just trying to work in the fields and just trying to start over and just trying to provide for her mother-in-law, okay? And she was just doing her own life. She wasn't expecting someone to fall in love with her, okay? But all of a sudden, he came with a crew to of the church group who came by with a bunch of supplies to repair her house. The windows, there was a window that had been broken. Everything looked kind of weird, wallpaper, somewhat moldy, and it just, some light fixtures were broken. The outside panels were just corroded. You know, the deck needed some TLC. You know, the plants were overgrown. It looked abandoned. The house looked abandoned, okay? And you may be in a situation, something similar. It may not be your house looks abandoned, but maybe your body has been, because, you know, it's emotional, to be going through a lot of loss, right? And distress. And your body could be aching and in distress. And there's someone there to, just like the prophetic word said, physician, healer, that is repairing you. All right? So, anyway, with the story, he came in and he was like, I heard that she's back in town. Naomi's back in town. Okay? And suddenly, with his own money, he is providing all of this assistance. And it's, you know, now they're getting kind of embarrassed. You know, they're feeling like, oh my gosh. And of course, he's trying to impress her. Okay? He finds her very attractive. So he's going to find you very, very, very attractive. Okay? His heart's going to be skipping beats. And then suddenly there's a vehicle in the driveway. Remember the dream that I had that there was no vehicle? Well, this story of Ruth and Boaz, all of a sudden there was a vehicle, and he had bought them a car so that she can get to work, back and forth to work, right? And just have a car, because everything else, they're like out in the country, so it's going to be quite a trek. And, you know, he's going over and beyond with his assistance, almost seeming like a catering, and just, he is showing the favor. He is making it known, and he is quite attractive man, right? In the movie, but also in your real life. The one that the Most High is sending you, he is very, very attractive. Very handsome. Very fit. Okay? But what's also really attractive, besides his physical attributes, is he's going to have a high level of emotional intelligence. So he's going to be intelligent in his IQ, but he's going to be intelligent of how to read in between the lines. Okay? You don't, obviously, Ruth in that movie, she did not like blurt out hey, she's running from this scary man. She's running away from that career that she doesn't want. She still loves to sing. Okay? She still loved it. And he supported her in that dream and opens and had some doors open for her. I don't want to ruin the story, but you just got to watch the movie. So you know what I'm talking about. But like, he pampered her with opportunities that would allow her to continue to do what she loves to do. Okay? But now she was singing for Yahusha, for her Savior, and she was no longer singing worldly songs. She was in her feminine receiving era. Okay? So, now he's trying to take her out on dates, and he's trying to impress her all the more, and he is financially stable. Okay? In the movie, he is someone that has a thriving business, but of course she's afraid of being found out by the producer. And there was some destruction that occurred towards the Boaz, because the producer was trying to intimidate her to come back by destroying things, buildings, etc. So in the movie there was a threat to life, and so she decided to just willingly go back. And of course Boaz came just in the nick of time, and he was defending her, physically defending her. Okay? And it's like the Red Sea moment, breakthrough. Breakthrough is going to come with an end to something. Breakthrough doesn't come where you just continue with the same old, same old. It comes with breakthrough. Relieving of something hindering into something new. And it comes with, it's going to feel a little bit scary. You don't want it to, obviously. And sometimes people feel, because it feels scary and unfamiliar, because it feels unprepared in some kind of way, it's not right now. But actually, it is right now. Because in the movie, she finally shared how, she didn't want anybody else to be in danger, so she was just going to put herself in danger. And maybe that's what you've been doing all this time. And the Most High is saying, no more. You can't do that anymore. So, he wants you to perceive that someone is that really truly loves you and is a protector and a provider, and in his healthy masculine role. Okay? And I'm not saying he can only be masculine, he can never be feminine. I'm talking about, of course he can cry and be nurturing. That would be a feminine role. But I'm talking about, because he's in his masculine role, he's a provider, he's a protector. In that sense, that's what I mean. Because of that, that's why you can stay in your feminine. And you can, on your receiving, you can state what you need, and that person supplies it. Okay? And he is loving the idea to supply it to you, rather than the other dynamic that was, they just want you to supply it, like the producer just wanted her to sing and make a lot of money, and she's singing all these songs with words that talk about demeaning her own body and herself. Okay? And being used and being degraded. And she doesn't want to get ahead that way. by not putting what she wants for her life first. And so the spirit of Pharaoh type of person in your life is not going to be happy with these changes that are coming about. Okay, so breakthrough is happening, and it's going to allow you to continue what you need to do for the Most High. Now, the Most High is saying, Yi, Ya, Sama, which means, alas, shock and admiration, surprise. Alas, shout for joy. The hand of Yahuwah, I am in the whisper. And the Most High is saying He wants you to have faith. He wants you to have faith because rescue is coming early. And if you notice, it's talking about Yahuwah's right hand. So the hand of authority is coming, and it's literally talking about the Most High's right hand, not the angel's right hand. Okay, literally, He is scooping you up and rescuing you in this hour. Okay, and this is a prophetic word of now. I received it in what month was that? Okay, in September, but it's now manifesting on earth as it is in heaven in March and April. Hallelujah. Shout for joy. So thank you so much for joining me on this prophetic journey. Please stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss the following prophetic words. They're just amazing. All right. I've already been receiving quite a bit of them. And it is time to put them on the channel because they begin to manifest on earth as it is in heaven as they are put on the channel. You need to share these words. You need to like and subscribe so that you can be ahead of it and not miss out. Okay? And send me ocean wave emoji if you are one to receive. And literally say, I receive this prophetic word in my life. Allah Shama.